Recording is
All right,
on.
good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me for today's AI for Printers workshop. Today, we're going to be talking about the lead scoring model for print shops. That's why you're here, is you wanted to catch the improved version of that prompt. So we will get into that very quickly. For many of you, we all have a starting point, and maybe many of you have already had your starting point. You're already using AI productively. Perhaps you've tried AI, but maybe a little underwhelmed with the results of your experiments. Maybe today is your starting point. Wherever you're at on your AI journey, you'll find something that you can use from today's workshop. So to kick things off, today's workshop is going to be hands-on. We're going to learn through doing. And so we'll have a number of hands-on exercises. And later for the live attendees, I'll guide you through the use of the lead scoring model, today's featured AI workflow prompt. So step one, to get ready for today, make sure that you have your favorite AI tool ready. That could be any of them. Claude by Anthropic, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Copilot, they'll all work. And so if you don't have a favorite yet, or if today is the day you're getting started with AI, just go ahead and go to chatgpt.com and create an account there. You'll be ready in about 30 seconds. The next thing is we will be hands-on, because there's just a huge difference between passively consuming information and proactively participating in the workshop. And so as we get ready to do that, just give me a feel for how you and your team are using AI today. This is a good chance for everybody to find that chat tool in the meeting software. So I want to make sure that you're finding that. And then just go ahead and drop in your answer. How are you and your team using AI today? A, you use AI, but your team does not. B, a few people on your team use AI casually. C, my team has a structured approach for using AI. Or D, you don't have a team, you're working solo. So whichever one is the closest match to you, go ahead and drop that into the chat. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is a free workshop, so the price of admission is nothing more than your time. So the only thing I'll ask is that you drop that into the chat, and I see many of you are doing that. So that is great, seeing a little mix of everything, a lot of B's and C's, and a D in there as well. So we get a little bit of everything. That's a good mix here. Okay, so as we get started, let's talk about why most of you are here today. You've likely heard me talk about the simple version of the lead scoring model prompt, either at aiforprinters.com or on LinkedIn. And honestly, that simple one is too basic. So I hope you don't use it. But we're going to use that as our starting point to talk about it. Some of you have requested the upgraded prompt. You've requested that at aiforprinters.com so you could get even better results. And of course, we're all here because you're interested in that AI workflow prompt. And today I'll show you that AI workflow version. That's the one everyone actually wants, because that's the one that will help you get real, meaningful work done with AI. It's the version of the prompt that produces the high value results. And so you'll get today's AI workflow prompt later in the workshop. So just to kind of set that stage, we're just going to briefly, at a high level, just take a look at each one of those, each flavor of that lead scoring model prompt. What would that look like? So this is a simple prompt, and I actually have pre-run these, so I can just share those with you. Just at a high level, we want to talk through that. And even though this one was a simple prompt, it ended up with more words than usual. But that's all right, because simple prompt is we're just asking a question, getting information back. I often talk about that one like the knock-knock joke. Tell me a knock-knock joke. And AI will, of course, tell you a knock-knock joke. So in that one, we just told AI to ask me for the details of my print shop, and then create a quick list showing the traits of a good lead versus a bad lead so I can focus my sales time on better prospects. Well, AI does ask for a few details. I gave it a few of those details. And then, of course, it just came out with all of the good lead and bad lead and everything else that we asked it to. Staying really high level on that one because it is a very broad use of AI. So basic question in, basic answer out. That's what we're getting with a simple prompt. Now, if we upgrade that prompt, and again, a number of you have already done that, you've requested that prompt at AI4printers.com. That's the one where we get a little bit more context when we use AI. AI gets more information from us. I actually said that backwards. AI gets more context from us and uses that context to produce better information, a little bit more of a quality results. And so just to give you an idea of what that looks like, again, at that high level, I'll show you what that one looks like. If we run that upgraded prompt, and again, you can get that at AI4printers.com, a little more depth to it. We're giving AI the role of a sales process specialist, helping me create a simple starter lead scoring model for my print shop. And we're telling AI, ask me for this information one question at a time. Description of my print shop, the type of prospects I usually talk to, the engagement signals that matter the most, and any red flags that indicate a low quality lead. And then once we provide those details, we're telling AI to create the clear list of high value attributes, a list of low value or bad lead indicators, and a simple scoring model. And we've also told AI to make that final output easy to understand and ready for immediate use. All right, so again, staying high level, we'll just take a look at what happened there. So we gave AI those instructions, and as we told it to, AI is going to come back and ask us some questions. How would you describe your print shop? We give it some information. That builds the information that AI knows about us. What type of prospects do you usually find yourself talking to? And we give it that information. The engagement signals, what matters most? We give it that information. What red flags typically indicate a low quality or low yield lead for you? And we give it more information. And from that, now AI has a broader base of information to give us a little bit more meaningful work. Not bad. It actually does a pretty good job at this, but we can do better. And that's why we are here today to talk about the AI workflow prompt. This is what you came here for. This is the prompt I'm giving you today, the one that turns AI from interesting into operational. And we will run this one as well. I'm actually going to run this one. I do have it pre-run, but let me just run this one, and we'll run it at a high level, and you will get this later in the workshop as well. But I do want you to see some of the characteristics of an AI workflow prompt. So a lot of information. How do you use it? If you can copy and paste, you can run an AI workflow prompt. So all I did is I just copy and pasted it here, and we're just going to let it run. And now you're going to see a few different things on how AI is now working with us. A few characteristics of how an AI workflow prompt works is it is going to check with us. It's actually going to educate us if we want it to, because it's going to give us an outline of the work that we're going to do to create a lead scoring model. But before we dive into doing that work, it also offers to give us a quick summary of the concepts behind lead scoring, or we can just get right into it. But let's take a look at that quick summary. And we are going to go very quickly on this at this point. We can dig into the details later, but let's ask AI for that quick summary. This is one of the things that you'll notice about an AI workflow. The way that it works is we're presenting it here is it's not just a tool you can use, it's a tool you can learn from. So what is a lead scoring system? AI is teaching us there's two parts. There's the fit score, there's the engagement score, why lead scoring improves sales, how the scoring works. And if we're ready, we can jump in to step one. And we'll let AI get ready, cook up step one here for us. Step one, it already outlined the steps, so we know what the steps are, but step one is defining the lead scoring objectives. And it's introducing what are we doing at step one. It's building the context so we understand what is happening at step one. And here's AI's question. What are the main challenges you face when trying to prioritize leads at, and insert the name of your shop there when you're working with it. So for today, just so we stay at this high level, I'm just going to hit the easy button, and I'm just going to have AI say, you already know some stuff about me, so just answer for me. This is actually an important part, which we'll talk about later in the workshop here. But AI is already going to pull information from us or out of us that we may or may not have already told it, but It just knows stuff. That's just kind of the way AI works. So as we're looking at this first step, it's already outlined for us. Remember the question on the table, what are the main challenges you face when trying to prioritize leads? We said, answer for me. It said, oh, here are the challenges that you probably face. Too many low value inquiries. Hard to distinguish early between good repeat customers and a one-time drain. Time is lost chasing micro orders, and you can see all of the rest of those. It takes that information. We can take it at face value, and we can keep on going with letting AI run with it, or we can say, nah, you missed on that one. Let's change that one. And so I'm going to continue to step 2, and I'm going to pause there. We're going to let AI keep on going. But I just wanted to give you that high-level overview that shows that an AI workflow is you and AI working together over multiple steps to get real, meaningful work done. So we could roll that out, and I actually had done that even before today's workshop, just making a few little adjustments, and 15 to 20 minutes, and this is done, and it represents a lot of work. We will dive into those details as we go into the workshop, and especially later when I share the workflow prompt with you. So let's take another moment and hop into the chat. Now that you've seen the different level of prompts, let's do another check-in. Tell me how you are using AI today. Just find the one that's the closest match for you. Does the way you use AI match up with simple prompts, upgraded prompts, or AI workflow prompts? Think about the improvement from a simple prompt to an upgraded prompt as just a small jump, and the improvement to an AI workflow prompt is a huge leap. There's that famous line, that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. The distance between A and B is that small step. The distance between B and C is a giant leap. So today's prompt, the lead scoring prompt, is from our productivity toolkit. And that AI workflow prompt can stand on its own, but as you'll see in a few moments, you need to see how the AI workflow prompt fits into the bigger picture of the toolkits, the collections of workflow prompts that can help you with your work every single day. So I'm seeing, wow, we're all over the board on this one. Lots of A's, B's, and C's. So a good variety of AI usage in there. That is good to see. All right. So, and I see a question in that came in there too. Please send in those questions. We will have questions and answers after at the end of that presentation. So if you get those questions as we go, send them in and we'll make sure to come back and pick those up as well. All right, so let's continue now, and let's look at this simple question. It's an important question. How can AI help me become more profitable? And to unpack that, we want to take a look at what we call the AI profitability formula. And it's really just simply this: productivity, and you multiply the productivity by performance. You multiply that all by your engagement with AI. That's what leads to profit. So get your AI ready, because we're going to start with the productivity element of this formula. And in just a moment, I'll give you the AI instructions you can use to build your own productivity toolkit right here in the workshop. All right, so what is this productivity toolkit? This on the screen now, this is the start of a pre-built productivity toolkit for sales and marketing and commercial printing. And as we build this out, you'll see that it includes all of the areas of responsibility for this role. Those are going to form across the top. And then going down in each column, you'll see the toolkit fill with the daily work within each area of responsibility. That looks like a lot of information on the screen right now. And the reason it looks like that is because it's a lot of information on the screen right now. For now, just know that this toolkit is a collection of AI workflows. Ignore all of the other details for now, and we'll bring more attention to that in a few moments. And so now I would like you to create your own productivity toolkit for your role and the work that you do right now. And to do that, I'm going to paste this AI prompt into the meeting chat, and now you'll be able to use that to create your personal productivity toolkit. I'm going to run this for you, run this along with you in real time, and you can do it with me now, or you can just and grab it from the meeting chat and just do it on your own later. So let me get that ready, and I'm going to put this into the meeting chat, and you can copy it. Now, before you run it, there is one thing that we need to talk about. So go ahead and copy it, but do not run it until I give you just a very brief instruction that goes along with that. So here it comes. It's into the meeting chat now. And let me open up a new window here. And you can paste it into your AI. Again, it can be any AI tool, but don't run it yet. I want you to pay attention to those top 3 lines. Very likely for many of you on the call, this will already be the right fit. But if it is not, before you run it, go ahead and change those 3 lines. If you're here as the owner, great. If you're here as a production manager or whatever your role is, just fill that in. What is the size of your company? What is the industry that you're in? Pretty safe bet that everyone here is in commercial printing. But if it's just a little bit of a different flavor of that, change those 3 lines. Everything else you can leave exactly the same. It can be ignored for now. AI will pay attention to it, but all it is the instructions and a sample of the results that we expect. So go ahead, change those top 3 lines if you need to, and go ahead and run that through your AI. Again, that can be any AI. It doesn't matter if it's ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, whatever it is, you can use that. So what you will see is your personal productivity kit toolkit showing up on your screen in near real time. Our experience shows that this is going to be about 80 to 90% accurate right out of the box. So if you're looking at it, and my screen is small, so I have to scroll around a little bit, and you may as well. But if you're looking at it and you're saying, yeah, that's not quite the right column that I'm working in, or that's not the right work that I'm doing in there, you can have that conversation with AI. Just tell it, replace this with that, and it will. I'm not going to do that now. That's something that we can do in more detail later. But for now, we just want to see that first draft of your AI productivity toolkit. All right, so that should be on your screen. If it is not, just shoot me a note in the chat, and we'll see where everyone's landing if you need any nudges in the right direction there. So on your screen, you should either have or it should be coming something like this productivity toolkit for sales and marketing in commercial printing. Now, again, this might look like a lot, but don't let yourself get overwhelmed. This is not a homework assignment that you need to turn in at the end of the month. Here's one other thing to note is what you've created on your screen, it really isn't a toolkit yet. What you have is a toolbox with a bunch of labels on it, and it still needs to get filled with the tools. How do you fill it with the tools? Well, what's on my screen is a completed toolkit for sales and marketing and commercial printing, and all of the tools are in place, one for each box. Today's lead scoring model workflow is from this productivity toolkit because that's what this is. It's a collection of AI workflows. You're going to get that workflow in just a moment. But how do you fill that toolkit? There's really 2 ways. First is you can buy this pre-built, ready-to-use toolkit from AI for Printers. The second way is you can learn how you can build the tools for your own toolkit, and it's actually quite easy to do. For now, though, I'm going to show the AI workflow for the creation of the lead scoring model, and we've already got that underway. So let's just go back to our chat here in a moment, and just to remind you that this is the lead scoring model. We had a little connectivity issue. Man, maybe that's our snowstorm moving through. Who knows what? So anyway, I see that we've missed the last 2 minutes. So I'm glad we're back here. Let me recap, get us roughly right here. So let's see, where should we, let me pick up here. So at this point, my hope is that you got the message to the information to create your own productivity toolkit. So let me just do a quick check-in in the chat. Did everybody get the instructions to create the productivity toolkit? If some of you are there that can confirm that, I see 1 yes, I see a few yeses. Okay, good. So that'll give me a good spot to know where to come back in. So if you got that productivity toolkit, as you've built that, for yourself, you should see something on your screen that looks like this. So not knowing exactly where we cut off, I'll just pick up back on this slide here. This looks like a lot of information. Don't get overwhelmed on it. This is not a homework assignment that you need to turn in at the end of the month. This is on your screen. It should be similar to what's on your screen in your AI. And in reality, this is not a toolkit yet. This is a toolbox with a bunch of labels on it. This toolbox still needs to get filled with the tools. So how do you fill it in with the tools? Well, what's on my screen is the completed toolkit for sales and marketing and commercial printing. All the tools are in place, one in each box. Each one of those is an AI workflow. Today's lead scoring model workflow is from this toolkit. So how do you complete your toolkit? There are two ways. First is you can buy this pre-built, ready-to-use toolkit from AI for Printers. The second way is you can learn how to build the tools for your own toolkit. It's really pretty easy to do, a lot easier than you might ever imagine. So those are the two ways that we can do it. So just to keep us recalibrated, let me go back here, and I think this is where our connection dropped off, is we are looking at our AI workflow for the lead scoring model. And we're just going to keep on going a little bit further with that, still staying at a high level. So if you remember, when we left it last, step one, it was looking for our objectives. Step two is we worked with AI to identify high value lead attributes. And then we said, yep, that looks good. Let's move on to step three and define engagement signals. And AI is working with us with what it knows about us, and we come on alongside it to keep it in the right path and say, here are the high value engagements signals. AI is suggesting these. If we were doing this in a more thoughtful way, which we can do because you'll get this workflow here in a moment, we would say that, yep, that is a good collection of the engagement signals. We could modify those. We can tell AI, no, you missed on that one. Let's bring that one back. But for right now, AI is asking us, do these behaviors actually accurately reflect sales readiness? And we'll say yes and move on to step 4. So we'll just let AI play along here a little bit. Again, staying at the high level, we always have the opportunity to come in and help it course correct. But step 4 is assigning weights and scoring rules. This is, and it's telling us what's happening at each step. This is where the model becomes practical. We'll assign numerical values to both the fit attributes and the engagement signals. How are we doing that? AI is suggesting that the fit score is going to consist of 50 points. And we're going to give it high value attributes, like if it's a local business or organization, that's worth 10 points, and on and on. Recurring print needs 15 points. And that's how we're scoring it. That's how AI is suggesting we're scoring it. Or maybe there's some negative fit attributes. If this is a one-off personal project, well, that's negative 15 points. Is it outside your service area? Negative 30 points. And then we have our engagement score, same type of idea. What creates a high engagement score, or moderate, or what detracts? What's the negative? We're starting to see this lead scoring model taking shape. Big picture, AI is presenting it to us. We can nudge it in any direction that we feel is necessary. And then now AI is going to come along and say, does this scoring system prioritize leads effectively? Or do we want to change anything? Do we want anything weighted more heavily or lightly before we continue? So it's, we'll say it's good, continue, just to keep us moving forward. Okay, so now we're on to step 5, implementing a system for score updates. How scores should update. Update scores at every interaction, weekly review, time-based decay, auto reset triggers, a full reset to 0 or a partial reset. They ghost after a quote for 30 days. Maybe that resets their score. And then suggestions on how we can track that. Again, this is an area where we could take some extra time to dig into the details with AI. For now, we're going to continue to step 6 and just let this one play out. Step 6 is integrating lead scoring into the sales process. A scoring model only creates value if it changes how you work day to day. This step ensures the scores actually drive decision inside Print Perfect or your print shop. We'll define how you and anyone helping with sales should use the scores during prospecting, quoting, and follow-up. How does that fit into the system? What does that look like? Start every day by looking at the hot leads. Where are the high scores? Warm leads go into a structured nurture rhythm. Cold leads, it should mostly be automated. Disqualified leads, those are the ones you just politely wave at as they go by onto the next spot on their day. And so you have different ways that you can consider using this lead scoring model. On and on and on. This is going to continue to help you implement this scoring system. Does this work with our team, or should we streamline it further? We'll just say it works. Use your own judgment. If you see something like, no, I need to twist it a little bit this way for my team, you can do that, of course. But for today, just to keep our high-level overview, we'll let AI wrap up with step 7, which is the final review and implementation. We get the summary and everything else that we just talked through. And that's where our workflow will keep on working with us as much as we'd like. But now you've seen how AI works with you to actually get really powerful, meaningful work done. That's one of the AI workflows in this sales and marketing and commercial printing, the lead scoring model. All right, so let's keep on going. This is the prompt that we ran, so I'll just go past that one. A few things to point out, just recapping some of those high-level things. What we've learned is when we use AI, we get to be lazy humans. You notice a lot of times they just said, let's proceed. You also notice that AI is amazing at filling in the gaps. That's an important, both of those are an important thing to notice, because what that means is when you combine both of those things, lazy humans and AI moving very fast to fill in the gaps, that means you can get a lot of work done very quickly. Just face it, us humans, we're better and faster at editing than we are at creating. So it's nice when AI gives us that powerful head start. Okay, so that workflow prompt is coming in about 10 minutes. But before we get there, let's take another look at the productivity toolkit you created for yourself. Take a look at that on your screen. So you might be thinking, AI can create a lead scoring model, but it can't do. And then look at your screen. Is there anything you're seeing on there that you'd fill in that blank, say, yeah, it can't do that? Well, we need to consider that, because if it's on your screen right now in your toolkit, I'm here to tell you that not only can AI help you do it, but in your current role, you plus AI can do the job at least 10 times faster with no compromise in quality and usually an increase in quality. There's some important points on that one. So I want to break that down just a little bit, because it starts with you plus AI. Notice that the work that we didn't just let AI go running off into the distance and grab our cup of coffee and come back and check in with it. It was us working alongside AI. So that's the first part of it. Second part, at least 10 times faster. Should be no question on that. If I were to build a lead scoring model on my own without the assistance of AI, well, we could check back tomorrow or maybe even next week. At least 10 times faster at a minimum with AI. And then the next one is the one that gets people kind of thinking a little bit differently sometimes and kind of scratching their head. No compromise in quality. Really? Can we really say that AI is doing that with no compromise in quality? And we can, because remember, our part of working with AI is to provide the quality control checkpoints. That's why these AI workflows are working in multiple steps, because that's our opportunity to come in and provide those quality control moments. So if you are seeing a compromise in quality, that finger points right back at us, because that's our job, is to provide that quality control. And then that last part, usually an increase in quality. This will become increasingly true over time. That maybe wasn't so true 2 or 3 years ago, but AI is progressing very fast and it becomes more true every single day. And then there's the future role too. You can also significantly accelerate and many times skip the lengthy learning process. You got a taste of that already. Remember when we ran that AI workflow prompt, the first thing it offered to do was give us a summary, give us that education. So as your work evolves in your future roles, you can significantly accelerate and many times skip that lengthy learning process. And also remember that the best way to learn something, it's to do it. You can see how easy it is to do something with AI. We're breaking the work down into small steps. We're seeing what does good look like at every step. That's that quality control moment. And if you need to learn how to do a task in that toolkit, the AI workflow will help you with the learning by doing. So let's go back to that AI profitability formula. With AI, a great way to become more strategic and increase your company's performance is to run what we call performance experiments. A performance experiment is simply testing a strategic improvement to see how much it increases the performance in a specific area of your business. In this part of the game of business, whoever runs the most performance experiments wins. Or if we bring it a little bit closer to our world, if you're the printer running the most performance experiments, AI will help you be the printer that wins. So get your AI again, and I'm going to give you some instructions so you can build your own performance experiments toolkit. When you build your personalized performance experiment toolkit, you'll see key performance indicators. They'll fill in across the top. And in plain English, these are the things that you're responsible for doing better over time in your role. And then in the columns, you'll see a combination of experts in the field and known strategies from those experts to help you get the results that you desire. This is another toolkit filled with AI workflows. These AI workflows are performance experiments. So I'm going to drop this one into the chat for you, into the meeting chat. And now that's in the meeting chat. You can copy that out. And now go back to the screen where you had your productivity toolkit. This time, just paste it into the chat. You do not need to customize this one at all. Just paste it in and hit enter because AI already remembers about you from the previous part of the chat. And as we drop that in there, we're going to see the first draft of your AI performance toolkit. And as I mentioned, we're seeing the advice from experts and the strategy that expert would recommend to help move the needle with those performance experiments. Okay, so that is building out on my screen, likely is building out on yours. I'm going to stay high level on that as well, and we'll cover that by going back to these slides, because what is happening now is you're creating another toolkit filled with AI workflows. This toolkit brings in the knowledge of world-class experts. This toolkit represents tens and thousands of dollars of world-class consultant-level work completed at the speed of AI. We're getting world-class results, and we're compressing clock time and calendar time. We could run any of these AI workflows, just like we did earlier with the AI workflow, the lead scoring prompt. And just like before, it would be a simple copy and paste exercise to start a process where we add context as AI interviews us at each step of the workflow. So take a look at your performance experiment toolkit. And so what you see on the screen is a bunch of experiments. Everything in the performance experiment toolkit on your screen can be turned into a bunch of experiments to help you increase the performance and effectiveness of your business. AI can help you run those experiments very quickly and efficiently. You already saw it in the other one that we used. AI will pull information out of you. It'll help bring things to the surface that you might not have thought about before. And it'll get you working with the knowledge of world-class experts to help you with that performance experiment. Every business goal can be improved by running experiments. Out of 10 ideas, most will move the needle in the right direction, and maybe one will even backfire. That's what an experiment ends up doing sometimes. But somewhere in the mix, you're going to find those breakthrough ideas. The only way to find which ones are the breakthrough ideas is to run the experiments. Now, here's the key. Speed is what changes the game. AI doesn't just give you more ideas, it helps you test them 10 times faster. So imagine this scenario. Pretend that you and I are exactly equally skilled, but you work by running experiments the old way, while I use AI to run experiment after experiment. By the end of the quarter, I'll have run 20 experiments in the time it took you to run 2. And guess who wins the experiment race? Well, that's why we say whoever runs the most performance experiments wins. And this is one of those major aha moments for people in this AI saturated world. Access to world-class expertise from proven experts to help you run these experiments is available on demand at your fingertips. And here's the even bigger picture. In your future role, as we continue to move forward into this AI world, imagine becoming the person who, no matter how the world changes around you, you can always produce results 10 times faster than anyone else still adapting. That's what staying ahead looks like. So now you've seen 2 toolkits filled with AI workflows. You've seen the productivity toolkit to help you with your daily work, and you've seen the performance experiment toolkit to help you improve the performance of your business. Now the question is, how do you put the tools into your toolkit? That's the engagement part of the AI profitability formula. And you really have 3 options. The first option is do nothing. You don't have to put the tools in your toolkit. I think we can all agree that doing nothing is the most natural response when a topic feels new or uncertain. And so when I listen to printers talk about AI, oftentimes this is what I hear. They're afraid that if they wait too long, a competitor is going to use AI to move faster and sell more and communicate better. And suddenly they feel like they're getting left behind because they waited for things to settle into place. And the other fear is this: we don't know where to start, so we'll just start later. And I get that. I completely get that. But time is one thing we just can't get back. Doing nothing feels safe in the short term, but it's the only option that guarantees no improvement and no competitive advantage. Option 2 is do it yourself. You can do this yourself. You really can. But it will take time for you to filter through all of the AI buzz and hype to find the good stuff. It's absolutely possible, but it comes with a very real cost. It comes with the time required to sort through all of the AI buzz and the hype. It comes with the trial and error, the inconsistency, and all of the weight falling on one person. Let's face it, all of the printers I talk with are already stretched thin, and adding AI workflow engineer on top of everything else, it's just not realistic. Now, consider that if you've seen some things here today that you haven't seen before, that might suggest to you that we understand some things about AI that others do not, and that you might want to consider continuing your AI journey with marketing ideas for printers, because we are laser focused on helping printers with their AI journey. Instead of trial and error, you get traction. Instead of overwhelm, you get clarity. Instead of falling behind, you move ahead. That's why I do these workshops, so we can help you get started. And it starts with just one of the AI workflows, like the lead scoring model from the AI for Printers platform. So no matter which of these 3 paths feels like your next step, the most important thing is simply not to leave empty-handed. So now I'm going to give you that AI workflow prompt for the lead scoring model so you can take that first step forward with AI in your shop. I'll do that in just one more moment, because normally, and here's where I'm going to put a twist. I'm not going to be saying this all the time, but today I am. This is normally where I would tell you how to get access to the full productivity and performance experiment toolkits so you can start using these AI workflows in a more productive and profitable way. But today I'm going to put a fun spin on that do it with us option. All these workflows in those toolkits, they are ready, but we're pressing pause on making the full toolkits available so we can repackage them for a 2026 release. Before we release that 2026 version, I want to make sure that we're focused on exactly the AI workflows that really move the needle for print businesses like yours. So I am inviting an early group of printers to help shape these toolkits in a very practical way. Here's how it works. I'll send you a list of the workflow titles from both the productivity toolkit and the performance experiment toolkit. You will then pick the workflows you believe would be most valuable for your business. You'll pick the top 5 productivity workflows and the top 5 performance experiment workflows. And honestly, I've got the number 5 on the screen. Honestly, if you just even want to bring it down to 3, if it's just easier to say just the top 3, that's okay. If you don't want to pick 5, just pick the top 3. And as my thank you for picking those, I will send you the workflows you selected so that you can start using them in your business. And then I'll invite you to share how they worked for you. So That's not a sales pitch. It's just simply an opportunity for us to work together to co-create these 2026 toolkits. And really, it's for you. It's a way that you can get focused sets of AI workflows that you can put to work right away. It's a perfect win-win for both of us. So if you want to be included, you just need to let me know by December 22nd. You don't have to use and work through all the workflows by December 22nd. Just let me know by December 22nd. So if you're here live and you want to participate in that, just drop your work email address into the chat or catch me during the Q&A after we stop the recording and let me know you'd like to participate. So again, if you're live and that is something that you would like, if you'd like to get those workflows with no strings attached, just drop your email address into that chat. If you're watching the replay and you want to be a part of the group, just drop me a note at dh@mi4p.com and I'll send you the instructions on how to continue as well. All right, so as promised, I am going to get that workflow prompt in there as we wrap up, and we will continue after the live session with that. Let me see, I gotta get my correct window, so I'm going to put that into the meeting chat just as soon as I get my mouse lined up in the right spot here. So coming next is the AI workflow prompt for the lead scoring model, the same one that was on the screen. So we'll talk through that after the live part of the webinar or the workshop in just a moment. To wrap things up, I'd like to share why I'm doing this. For me, this is personal. I started exploring AI partly out of curiosity, but mostly because I wanted to make sure that my company, Marketing Ideas for Printers, was prepared for a world about to be saturated with AI. But it became so much more than that. This really is personal. I've spent my career helping printers succeed, and I've never seen a shift like this one. AI is not a trend. It is a transformation, and you can approach this transformation not with fear, but with confidence. I want you to have the tools and the confidence and support not only to keep up with AI, but to lead with AI. That's why we built the AI for Printers program, specifically for printers like you, because it fits perfectly with our promise of helping you sell more printing. And with that, I'll wrap up the recorded portion of today's workshop, and you should have that featured AI workflow prompts already for the live attendees. If you're watching the recording, you can also get your copy of the featured AI workflow prompt by dropping me a note or giving me a call. The contact info is right there on the screen. If you're here live, stick around, and after I stop the recording, I'll be available for any questions about the use of the lead scoring model workflow prompt and about the AI for Printers program as a whole. Thank you for attending today, and I'll stop the live recording now. And if anyone attending live, you're welcome to stick around, and we'll have questions and answers.